the safety talk is, at least from my perspective, I feel like it's very abstract. It's very, in the future. It's like, even though there are claims that, it's going to happen very soon, I don't know, skeptical, like, etc. So like, what should be the response of like let's say an average ChatGPT user, right? Is there any behavior change that needs to take place for them to do anything about this?
There are a few things that essentially are already affecting us. There's this thing that's called gradual disempowerment. There's this concept in safety called gradual disempowerment. The idea here is that over time, you will outsource more and more of control to AI, for better or worse. And essentially, at some point, you have such little idea of what's happening in the system that you're essentially disempowered from it, right? Like, because you have like no levers to pull, you don't have any control over the system, you're essentially disempowered. And I think it's already happening to a large extent, right? Because like in some ways or the other, for example, even as when I'm coding, right? Like earlier, I would know each line of what each file would do and each code line would be written by me. And now I have a very fuzzy idea of what my code base is.
Honestly, I was going to give the same example, like when like I see myself, even when the task is very, very simple, right? I don't want to write the 3 lines. Like
exactly.
I just want to prompt the single sentence and I want to get it done.
And you're disempowered in some sense, right? Because now if you have to go fix a bug in the code without using AI, etc. Like A, you have to go understand the entire code base that you've not written, and B, it's like you've just like lost or you will lose the ability, or you lost the patience to go do this like change, right? So in some sense, it might be useful, might be economically beneficial to have a coding agent do these tasks. Maybe your time is better spent instead of writing those 3 lines of code or like thinking of other problems. But in some sense, you have like relinquished control to AI. And this is happening at a very small micro scale right now. It's still happening at like individual tasks. What happens when like companies start doing it at a larger scale, governments start doing it, nation states start doing it, right? You start like outsourcing bigger and bigger pieces of your infrastructure to AI. And suddenly you're like, hey, actually, I have no control. The AI decides all these things. We don't know what's happening. Right?
Yeah, I mean, if people don't have any context on, like, you can just scale the code base example, right? Like if you don't know what is, let's say you have been working on a code base for about 2-3 months, and let's say 80%, 90% of the work has been done by an AI. If tomorrow there is this minor issue, and let's say for some reason you don't have cloud access or codex access, you are fucked, right? Like I mean, like where are you going to figure out things?
I can imagine. I totally imagine. I can totally imagine the scenario. And so, for better or worse, like this is happening at an increasingly large space. So an average person right now should think very hard about like, what kind of control am I giving to AI? Is some control is probably okay to give us. That's a trade-off that you should be making, right? Like you shouldn't go very hard or not be like a quote unquote control freak and control every aspect of your life, right? Like you should be like, okay, no, cool. Like I don't have to go look at my Uber driver's legwork to figure out if I'm safe or not. I should like relinquish control and be like, okay, cool. My life is in the Uber driver's hand. It's fine. Right. So you need to make those trade-offs constantly in life, and you need to figure out where that trade-off is. It's worth thinking about. Like, okay, what are parts of my life that I'm okay outsourcing to AI, and which if I'm not there, I wouldn't be okay, right? And like, what's an okay trade-off to make versus like, oh, this goes a step too far. It might be different points for different ones. It might be different points for an individual versus an organization versus a nation state. But something's worth thinking about, and also worth thinking about like, the more abstracted away you are from the problem, and the less we understand these models, we're essentially outsourcing it to alien minds that we don't actually understand and maybe soon even control, in which case what happens. So it's worth thinking about the threat model of that.